What is up, people? Van from the VaniverseGaming channel here, bringing you another video on Solasta, Crown of the Magister. And in today's video, I am going to teach you how to seduce everything in Solasta, Crown of the Magister. We are talking about the Bard class. Now, the Bard class, to me, is not a, what do you want to say, exciting class. They don't have a lot of, wow, that's really awesome, but they will make everybody else look better. And in this video, I'm going to cover what I would, different race choices or ancestry, if you want to call them, and then kind of go over the subclasses, their spell choices, and we're just going to level a bard up and just kind of see how things go. So hopefully when you're done with this video, it will help you determine if you want to also seduce everything in Solasta and play a bard in your party. So first up, let's talk about the ancestries, races, whatever you want to call them. Which one is going to be best for your bard? Now, bards are very much so intelligence, dex, and charisma based. For the most part, charisma is one of their main features. Some of their modifiers are also going to be dex related because you're not going to be casting all the time. So a snow dwarf could work because of the extra dexterity, proficiency with heavy crossbows. So definitely a good choice. Dragonborn could also work because of the +1 charisma, but they're strength based. You can make a strength-based bard where you're going to be using weapons and maybe a shield, that kind of thing. But I don't necessarily recommend it, but it would be cool to be a Dragonborn bard. Half-elf is probably going to be your best bet because you get 2 to charisma and 2 to other scores. So you could put 2 in charisma, 1 in your dexterity, and 1 into your intelligence. Half-orc's probably not going to work out for you unless you want to, that'd be weird, but you could. Human, 1 to everything, but they don't get dark vision, so that's a downside. Similar to the Dragonborn, they don't get dark vision, so that's a downside. High Elves, they're going to do okay because they get dexterity and intelligence. And then you have the Sylvan Elf, which is wisdom and dex, so probably not your best bet. Marsh Halflings, dexterity and constitution. That could also be good depending on what kind of bard you make. And then Island Halfling, charisma and dexterity, which is also very good. But again, no dark vision. So really, if I were to choose the best overall, it's probably going to be the half elf, followed shortly by maybe a snow dwarf, and then I'd kind of go from there. So let's just use the half elf to build this character. All right, so we're going bard, and we got what we want for the bard, so we're going to hit next. And now we have to pick what is our background. Now, like I said, if you go back here, and you can see bards are only proficient in light armor and simple weapons, minus a short sword, long sword, and rapier. So if we go into our backgrounds, right, we don't really, it depends on what we want to be, right? If we want to have the ability to craft weapons, academic is great because it gives you proficiency with the Manical Rosary, which is used for enchanting weapons. Other than that, you know, the artist is very thematic for what this class is. So if you want to be thematic, great. If you want to build a character that's just going to be helpful, my options I would choose are going to be the Lawkeeper, gives you martial weapon proficiency, which you don't have today, so opens up what weapons you can use. The Lowlife, which gives you proficiency in Thieves' Tools, which you don't have today, so you could have your Bard kind of be your lockpicker person, so I think that's also a good choice. And then finally, you have what I call the Sellsword, which is proficiency in medium armor, because as a Bard, you only have proficiency in light armor. So from a gameplay standpoint, I highly recommend picking most likely the Sellsword, with a low life being second, one of those 2 choices, and maybe Lawkeeper if you want to go more of a melee style build, and then Artist if you want to be more thematic and just be like, oh, I'm an artist, you know, something like that. Okay, so we can pick our things here, which, you know, whatever you want to be. This really doesn't matter, but pick whatever you want to be. You are building a character, you are role-playing. All right. So now we get to our stats. So as you can see, Dex, Con, Charisma, Intelligence. To me, Charisma is probably the most important thing for a Bard, followed by Dexterity. And then, of course, everybody needs to have hit points. So what I would say is just try and focus on your Charisma, Dex, and Con. You definitely want to have at least a 10 or higher strength, or you can't do anything. And you probably want to have a high Wisdom, because a lot of the negative spells in this game are Wisdom-based. So I would probably go that route. All right, so let's just standard array. Let's just optimize and let's move on to our next one. So we're going to add into our constitution and our dexterity. Okay. So now we kind of have our bards. So as you can see, they're very much so a skill monkey. So we can start picking, right? If we want to go, our stealth is always great. Sleight of hand is already great. If you did pick up thieves tools, you'd already have proficiency in them, but you could get some pluses there. Arcana, history, all good. Deception, persuasion, all good. So I got 5 skills to choose from, which is why bards are so great. Then you start getting into your languages. Now, I will tell you, if you are playing the main campaign, Terran and Old Temerian are super nice to have, almost a requirement. If you are playing the DLC, learning how to speak Giant is also very, very important. All right. So now we get to pick our cantrips. So we get 2 cantrips. Vicious Mockery is a must-have if you're a bard. I mean, that's what makes a bard a bard. You're picking up Vicious Mockery just because you want to talk shit to everybody. Done. After that, you have to decide what you want. Everything else sucks. Sparkle Light, right? So if you have a light cantrip, you can pick some of the different races that don't have dark vision because you can just have light on everything. Or you can do Sparkle. But to me, probably I would pick Dazzle. It lowers a target's AC and prevents reactions. So this is your kind of get out of jail free card if you're not picking a melee bard. All right, so now you get to pick 4 spells. So as I mentioned in other videos, the bard is one of the only classes other than the wizard that has the ability to identify. Now, a ritual spell can be cast without expending a spell slot, provided you spend 10 minutes. Unfortunately, the bard has to have this as a memorized spell or prepared spell in order to cast it as a ritual. So I would recommend picking this up because it's just going to make your life super easy. Detect Magic, same thing. You can have other classes that have Detect Magic. You don't necessarily have to have Detect Magic. I mean, you can pretty much just start casting Identify on everything. If you look at it, you're probably pretty sure on which ones are magical because they say things like magnificent or amazing or superb. But if you want, pick that up. Healing Word is a must-have on every healer class, non or whatnot. It's just the best spell to have. And then you can kind of pick through some of these other things. I recommend Fairy Fire. As a bard, your whole purpose is to make everybody else better. Fairy Fire is really good with that. Bane is not great. Well, it's okay because you lower people's attacks, but they get to save, which is good, but if they all save, you just wasted a spell. Fairy Fire is the same way, so they could probably go interchangeably hand in hand. Hideous Laughter is pretty fun, but it takes one person out of the fight, and they get to keep rolling saving throws to break it. Thunder Wave's a nice pushback damage, sleep. So kind of up to you. The only thing I would say or a must-have most likely is going to be Healing Word and Identify, and then you can choose from there. So I'm just going to pick Fairy Fire and Detect Magic and call it a day. All right, so we're just going to randomly pick some stuff here. Okay, yep, that's fine. Finished. Okay, so now we're going to pick up our new bard here, and we're going to level her up. Here she is, and level up. So at level 2, you're going to pick up Song of Rest. So during a short rest, each ally rolls an additional hit die when spending a hit die and regain hit points. So this is just going to make everybody use less hit die so you can short rest more often and have a benefit. And then half your proficiency bonus is added to an ability check. So all your ability checks that you're not proficient in, you can add your proficiency bonus to. So again, makes them very much so the skill monkey of the group. All right, so you can always choose to unlearn a spell every time you level up. So if you're like, you know what, I don't want Detect Magic anymore. Now I can add a different spell. So let's say now I want Bane. And then I get another spell choice of my liking here because you get one every level. So we're going to go Thunder Wave. And now we are going to level up to level 3. So at level 3 is when we're going to be able to pick our Bard College. And we also get our proficiency. So we get to pick 2 skills that we're going to be proficient in, and your proficiency bonus is doubled. So 2 skills we're proficient in, we get to double our proficiency. All right. So at this point, you get to decide what kind of bard do you want to be. The lore bard is pretty fantastic because cutting words is hard to beat. The ability, when you're in the College of Lore, you gain a proficiency with 3 skills of your choice. So this is just going to make you even more proficient in everything. But cutting words allows you to add your bardic inspiration dice to somebody when they're rolling. So you can have a creature that like has your, oh crap, he's going to crush my face. Now you can say, no, he's not, because I'm going to make him have a negative D6 or a negative D8 or a negative D10, depending on how I level up, to his attacks. So that, in addition to getting your magic secrets 2 spells from any other class early at 6th level and then again later on, probably makes the College of Lore Bard my favorite Bard subclass to pick. Now, all these other subclasses are pretty interesting, and I've never played them before. So let's kind of talk about those. College of Heroism. When ally uses one of your Bardic Inspiration, they roll twice. So this is good where if you Bardically inspire somebody and you give them a 1d6 and they roll a 1, now they get to roll 2 dice and take the higher. So it's just going to make your Bardic Inspirations work more often and better. And then, as an action, you can bolster an ally you can see within 6 cells for 1 minute to gain immunity to frighten and fear, and advantage on all saving throws. This is okay. I just don't know if it's really that fantastic. And then at level 6, when you grant a Bardic Inspiration to an ally, the closest enemy within 12 cells must make a successful Wisdom saving throw or take thunder damage equal to 1d8 and have disadvantage on their neck attack roll. That is pretty darn cool, right? You can dish out, I think 4. It's like 3 or 4. So you're throwing out candy every short rest, right? Every long rest, and you're doing damage to everyone around it. So this is a pretty cool ability because you could put your melee fighter up in there and just start Bardic inspiring him, and every time you do, he's doing AoE damage to everything. So I really, really like that. And it comes at level 6, so it's not later on, so that's a pretty cool ability. I'm a big fan. So then let's call College of Hope. Song of Rest heals additional hit points equal to your charisma, and it grants temporary hit points. So this is really going to be your bard that's going to be your healer, right? So at the end of a short rest, everybody's going to gain more hit points and get a temporary hit point equal to one of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. So you can be giving your entire party a D6 plus up to 5, and then a D8 plus 5, and then a D10 plus 5. So that's a really, really strong ability to have on short rests. And then you gain the Prayer of Healing spell, which is great AoE heal out of combat. And then you get Mass Healing Word and Revivify. So this is definitely going to be the bard that's going to be the healer in the party. And at level 6, when giving a Bardic Inspiration die to an ally, they also roll a Song of Rest die to heal up half their maximum health. Wait, what? Half their maximum health? That's not true. So you bardically inspire them, and they also roll a Song of Rest die to heal up to half of... Okay, so they can only go up to half. So you get them a Bardic Inspiration, but they can't go above half their maximum health. Okay, so that's not terrible. That's not terrible, but that's a nice heal to have. All right, and then let's look at the College of Tradition ones that's part of the Lost Valley DLC. You get a free mage armor, so you get 13 plus your dex mod. So basically, if you're wearing no armor, you can get, with a 20 dex, an 18 AC right out of the gate. And then when you make an Intimidation Insights check, you can treat a roll of 9, 10. Anything lower than 9 is a 10. So this will help with some of your some of the things that you're doing in the game, but I don't think that's a big deal. Getting a free mage armor is pretty cool, but I think if you have studded leather plus your dex, it's the same thing. So I really don't think that this is a great bardic tradition, in my opinion. As a reaction, after a creature can see within 12 cells, you can expend one of your bardic inspirations. On a failed intelligence saving throw, they take psychic damage equal to 2 times your bardic inspiration die, plus your charisma modifier, and be stunned until the end of their turn. Damage is halved. So as a reaction, you can do this. So you can, this is kind of like a super powered cutting words, where you can do 2 times your bardic inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. So 2d6, 2d8, or 2d10 plus up to 5 damage on a reaction, and you get to stun them. Now that's pretty good. So if I were to rank these, I'm going to put College of Lore number 1. I just think it's too good because of the magic secrets. I would probably say that the next best one, in my opinion, would probably be College of Hope for the healing and what that provides, the temporary hit points. And then the College of Heroism I mean, this is really, really cool because you're basically giving people AoE damage and a bardic inspiration, where this one you're using your reaction to do damage. So as a bard, I don't know how often you would use your reaction, but you also get to use your bonus action on other things. So I would probably put College of Traditions ahead of College of Heroism. So that's what I would do. Lore, Hope, Traditions, Heroism. Unless you don't have Lost Valley, then I'd do that. So let me pick College of Lore, because that's what we're going to use to level up. All right, so now we get our subclass skills, because we picked College of Lore. So now we become proficient in more stuff. That one, and that one, and that one. And now we get expertise. So we get to double our proficiency in something. So let's do, I'm going to be persuasive, and I'm going to be stealthy. Okay. And now we get to choose to unlearn a spell, or we get to, at level, what were we? 3, yes, we get our level 2 spells. So again, one of the spells I think is very good on a bard is probably Hold Person, or maybe the Knock spell if you don't have anybody who can cast. Silence is great, and then Shatter is an AoE. It's a really low-level AoE. So I'd probably pick Hold Person or Shatter. Heat Metal doesn't really come into play until later on in the game when things are wearing heavy armor. There's a couple. I think you're going to get most bang for your buck out of Hold Person. Alright, so now let's just level up to 4. And let's talk about our ability score increase or our bonus feat. So I just took my standard array. If you didn't take your standard array and you rolled, you're going to get pretty sick ASIs, so I wouldn't worry about this. So let's talk about bonus feats that would work with a bard. As we talked about, Flawless Concentration. So this is great because Hold Person and some of those abilities, they're concentration abilities. So being able to getting knocked out of that is going to be important. Also, your powerful cantrip. So your cutting words, you can also make sure you do damage to them regardless. That one's pretty good to have. And then if I want to talk about some of the other abilities, I think this new one where you gain AC for shooting them with a light attack. This one here, plus 2 AC when you're using a light weapon, could be beneficial. The Lockbreaker could be beneficial. But if I'm going to be playing a bard, I'm going to be having my little stringy instrument. I'm going to be shooting a bow. So I most likely am going to probably take up, I think if I were to choose, it would be the Uncanny Accuracy right away, where I ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover, and when I do ranged attacks, I think that's going to probably give me the best bang for my buck, in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to go with. Alright, so now we get to, again, choose the auto learn. We get to choose a cantrip. So at level 4, you get a new cantrip. So let's just do Shadow Dagger because it does psychic damage. And then we can unlearn a spell. No, thank you. And then we can pick up another spell. So maybe I'll get Shatter on this one. All right. So now we're going to level 5. So level 5 is a good level for bards. So at level 5, you're going to gain your increase on your bardic inspiration to a D8 from a D6. And then now you get to regain your bardic inspirations on a short rest as well as a long rest. So that's going to be super huge. To me, if I'm going to put a party together, I would love to put together a short rest party. Anything that comes back on short rests, warlocks, monks, fighters, sorcerers, anything where they get stuff back on short rests, I mean, it's just going to be amazing now, because then you just have a party of nothing but short rests. So again, at 5th level, you get to get your first 3rd level spell. So we're going to maybe unlearn something we don't care about, like Thunder Wave. And now I get to pick 2. So here's your Hypnotic Patterns is a nice to have. It's kind of like a giant AoE charm. Stinking Cloud's really nice. It does some pretty decent crowd control. And Fear is really nice too. So I'm probably going to pick Fear and Hypnotic Pattern. All right, now we're getting to level 6, and this is where it gets fun. Counter Charm, you get to do it once per turn, so at level 6, things are going to be casting fireballs at you for sure. So being able to counter those is great. Within 6 levels advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. I'm sorry. Charmed. What am I saying counter spell for? Charmed. So there are some frightening abilities in this game. Not so many charmed abilities, but just having the ability to prevent the frightened stat, I think it will help us with some of the creatures that you're fighting. But this is the main one here, Magical Secrets. Only the Lore Bard gets this at level 6. And this lets me pick any spell from any other class. So let's see here. So we're going to say Ignore, Unlearn. We're going to pick the spell that we want. Let's just say we're going to pick Stinking Cloud. And then here you go. All right, so this is every spell in the game right now up that I can cast. So I can pick up Spirit Guardians. I can pick up Fireball. I mean, literally any spell is mine at my disposal. So since we're 6th level, we can start picking up level 3 spells. Ah, man. For me, it depends on what kind of bard I am. If I'm an AoE bard, I love Spirit Guardians, but I'd have to be a melee bard. Haste is great to cast on our fellow team members. Fireball, we're definitely doing Fireball. And then maybe, oh man, I wouldn't even know what to choose. I'm going to do Fireball Counterspell, but this is what makes this so great. Alright, so now let's see what we're going to get at level 7. Okay. So now we just get another ASI. No. Level 7, nothing. Just, oh, wait, we get our 4th level spells at level 7. So we can choose to unlearn something, and then we get our 4th level spells. So you get Greater Invisibility, Dimension Door, Confusion, or Dread Omen. So on a failed wisdom, they take psychic damage and become frightened until the end of their next turn, moving away from you as much as they possibly can. A successful save, they take half damage as much. Dimension Door, Greater Invisibility, I think is what I'm going to go with, but that Dreadful Omen looks pretty fun. Alright, we're going to get to level 8 now. And now we get our, at level 8, we get our ASI, or we get our bonus feat. So since we picked up the last one that's bow related, and we're still sticking to the whole bow thing, what should we pick up here? We could do 1 to our AC, or we could do this one. You gain... We're using light crossbow. So, Cloak and Dagger might be good. No, you know what? I'm going to do Flawless Concentration, because we're starting to get to concentration spells, so we're totally doing that. And I don't do the bonus cantrip one, because you don't really do a lot of cantrip damage with a bard. Like, your damaging spell cantrips aren't that great. Alright, so we're going to pick up Dread Omen. And now we're moving to level 9. So now we're level 9. So at level 9, we're going to pick up more spells. So at level 9 is when you get your first 5th level spell. So we can ignore or unlearn a spell every time. But let's look at our 5th level. So we get Dominate Person, Hold Monster, Raise Dead, Mass Cure Wounds, or Greater Restoration. Now, I love Dominate Person. And I love Hold Monster. At this level, you're going to be fighting monsters and not humanoids, so being able to hold them, which paralyzes them, is going to be huge for your melee characters. Dominate Person, taking control of a enemy humanoid and having them fight for you, fantastic. Mass Cure, doing a AoE Cure Wounds on your entire party, great. So really, any of these would be good. You could even... unlearn one of your spells over here that you're like, I just don't use anymore, like Bane. And then we can pick up both Dominate Person and Hold Person. And then we're good here. So a lot of really cool spell choices when you get to level 9 and get your 5th level spells. Alright, we're going to level 10 now. So this is when we get our Bardic Inspiration, goes to a D10. And then on top of that, we gain Bard Expertise. So you choose 2 more skills to be proficient in, or to double your proficiency in, and we get 2 more spells from somebody else's spell school. So level 10 is another great ability for us. So we're going to do Performance, Sleight of Hand. And then we are going to see what we have available here. So we're going to... we get another cantrip at level 10. So at this point, we're all cantripped out. We're going to get rid of Stinking Cloud. And then we're going to pick our new class spell, which is Mass Cure Wounds. Might as well get... Wow, we don't have a lot of options here, do we? Detect magic, cure wounds, whatever. Okay, so now we're going to pick our 3 spells from someone else's spell book. So now we can choose level 5 and level 4 spells. To me, 2 of the best spells at level 5 are Conjure Elemental and Mind Twist. I love these spells. Cone of Cold is okay. Flame Strike's okay. Cloud Kill, Insect Plague can do some massive damage. But I absolutely love Mind Twist and Conjure Elemental. Conjure Elemental, we can put a big fire elemental with like 105 hit points out on the thing, and they just runs around. And then Mind Twist, it's an AoE around you that does significant damage, and it can actually incapacitate people. So those are my choices, for sure. All right. So now, we got 2 more levels left. Let's go to level 11. So at this one, we're going to pick up another 6th level spell of our own class. So we're going to choose between Hilarity, Eye Bite, and True Scene. Hilarity, choose 1 target. They fall down, laugh, and become prone and incapacitated. Take psychic damage until they save at the end of one of their turns or until the spell ends. So this is like a super powered Hideous Laughter. Eye Bite, you gain specific property which can target a creature. True Scene. Let's try Hilarity because it looks fun. It looks hilarious. Okay. So then we're going to get to our final level in Solasta, which is level 12. You might not even make it to level 12 in the game, but if you do, this is when you get your last ability score or bonus feat. So at this point, we're pretty much maxed out. The game's probably already over, so it's probably not that big of a deal, but let's get... I don't know. Arcane Appraiser. Actually, I should have taken Arcane Appraiser earlier. All right, and then we get to unlearn 1 spell and learn another one. So let's get rid of Cure Wounds, and let's pick up... Goodbye. Wait, what? Change. Unlearn. Okay, and then we get to pick up something up here. So that is the Bard class, what you get as you level up. And I just did the College of Lore Bard. You could see some of the other subclasses and what they got if they leveled up. So the only thing that really changes is what you get at level 6 is going to be different depending on which subclass, but every other thing is what the Bard gets. So as you can see, the Bard is very much so geared around being a support class based on their spells. Their Bardic Inspiration dice is absolutely amazing, but they also are amazing with skill checks. So you can have them pretty much be the person who talks to everybody, unlocks everything, handles every insight check. I mean, they just get so many proficiencies and skills. It's pretty amazing. And to be quite honest, getting those 4 extra spells from the Magic Secrets of the Lore Bard is just amazing. But even if you don't pick the College of Lore, you still get those 2 extra spells at that higher level, at level 10. So that's still pretty amazing as well. So hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea of a Bard, how to build one, some of the things that I think are good choices, and just what you get as they level up through the game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos on Solasta, and we'll catch you in some of our other videos about the other classes. This is Van from the VaniverseGaming channel. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and peace out.